everyone.
And he is
Hello.
running for House seat 68, which would be the seat that Jeff Brandes is currently holding. And so we're very happy to have you tonight. Thank you very much for taking your time to come participate in
Appreciate
this.
it. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Daryle Hamel, and I live here in St. Petersburg, right up there on 4th Street. I also work right over on 34th Avenue. I work for the Crown Auto Group as a business manager. I work at the Kia dealership as well as the Mitsubishi dealership. I'm originally from New York State, upstate New York, home of the soda ban and your great Senator Charles Schumer. And I did receive my master's of business administration from there. I'm not a big fan of what was going on in New York State, aside from the snow. So I did the best thing that we can do, and that was vote with my feet. So I decided to come down to the Sunshine State. I love Florida. It's a great state. For one, it doesn't have snow. For two, you guys don't have things like state income tax. I love that. I mean, to me, it still seems like it's a very free state. I came down here in November of 2009. As I've been down here over the years, getting acclimated, becoming a citizen of Florida myself, you know, I've always followed politics all my life. I've even helped a few people down here in campaigns, either talked with them or helped go out and get signatures or anything like that. I also did politics in college as well. Parliamentarian, I was on the executive board, senior senator, junior senator. I was just waiting for the right time where it felt right for myself to go into public office. It's one thing to do it in college, it's a completely different beast to do it for the United States or even Florida State. So as I came over here, you know, got myself situated after I had listened and thought I had a good grasp of what was going on, that's when I decided to come in. When I first came in, I saw that Mr. Brandes, who I really didn't know too much about, but he was the incumbent. I wasn't going to let that deter me. I feel very convicted in what I'm doing. I'm a Republican, and the reason I'm a Republican is because I believe in the rule of law. I believe in limited government. I believe in small taxes, lower taxes. Taxes should be limited because your government should be limited. There's no sense in having large taxes unless you want a large government. And as we can see, government's been getting larger and the taxes are going along with it. So that's why I'm running myself. Instead of sitting back and talking about it and helping others, if I think I can do a better job, then you step up to the plate and you do it. So here I am at the plate and I'm ready to swing. I am a big advocate of the 10th Amendment. 10th Amendment gives the states the rights that are not afforded to the federal government through the Constitution. Unfortunately, it seems the federal government would love to grow the Constitution to about 800 pages to match the tax code currently. I don't believe in that. Even if I don't disagree, even if I don't agree with everything, say, Arizona State is doing, I completely respect the fact of what they're doing. I believe they have that right to do whatever they want under the rules of the Constitution. As far as the DREAM Act, just enacted by President Obama, I do not support that either. Again, that's just the federal government running amok. In terms of the federal government, I would also like to say I don't think the federal government should be running education. I believe that should be left to the states. The states have a better idea of what their people need. If you don't like what's happening in one state, you can leave. That's the beauty of the United States. The US of A is actually the United States of America, not one state. It's a country of 50 states, and that's what I love. So I would like to see education brought back down to the state level. Get the federal government out of it. They have no clue what's going on. And if you want to know how you can pay for it, it's not paid for just by property taxes, but the money that we send up to the federal government for the Department of Education could be kept here in the states, and we could help pay for it right there. I'm also a big fan of the Second Amendment. I don't think the federal government has the right, as it's written in the Constitution, to limit your right to a firearm. Now, if the state wants to do it, that's one thing. And I plan on being there to say, no, we're not going to limit that. Also here in Pinellas County, I know a big thing, I can see it right here, no tax for tracks. I'm not a fan of the rail myself either. It doesn't make sense. They want to raise the taxes so that we can get a transportation system that it's not, could we do it, should we do it? And in my opinion, I haven't seen any evidence or facts to prove that we should do it. Also, they're planning on doing it at a loss when it could be done at a profit. How do you do it at a profit? Keep the government out of it. If there's money to be made by a company, then let the company do it. Let them come in and do it. So what we need to do is maybe present it to somebody and say, hey, is this profitable for you? And if they say no, then why should the government do it? Doesn't make any sense. I'm also not a fan of the red light cameras. I don't think that they deter accidents at all. We all know what it is. Everybody knows what it is. And finally, at least some of our elected officials are flat out coming and saying, yes, it was there to generate revenue. At least they're admitting it. But the fact is that there are people who come up to a red light knowing that it has a camera and they're actually nervous. God, I hope that turns red because I don't want to have to make that decision. Should I go, should I not go? Especially when it's been determined that you can just reduce the time, or increase the time on the yellow light, and it actually reduces accidents. It actually makes people less nervous. If you're going to run the light, you're going to run the light. At least keep it yellow, and that way not let the other people go. And just hold them back for an extra 28 seconds, 15 seconds. Just makes sense. People ask me, are you conservative? Are you liberal? I like to ask people back, what does conservative mean? Well, conservative means limited government, fiscally conservative. I'm like, isn't that a Republican? Isn't that a Republican just in general? I believe so. If I ran on any platform, I would like to say I run on the platform of common sense. Exactly when did we run out of common sense? I like to keep things simple. I don't think things are simple anymore. If you read through the Florida Constitution, it's actually not that difficult. I want to say, it could be off, I think it's around 40 some odd pages. Okay, it's not that bad, I can understand that. But there's also a lot of laws that aren't in the Constitution, just like the United States Constitution. The United States Constitution is very easy to read, very easy to remember. But there's probably, 600 extra pages added to that we don't understand. Again, that's just human nature to make things more complex. What I would like to do is make things more simple. I also believe in entrepreneurship. I believe in capitalism. I don't believe in corporatism, which is a completely different entity. I believe in capitalism. I believe in letting the free market decide. If insurance rates are out of control, well then maybe we should let the insurance companies or the insurance industry figure it out. Yes, we regulate to a certain extent, but we don't run it. Once you start trying to run it, again, it becomes like education. I don't think education has gotten better since the Department of Education. I think it's gotten worse. I think people should have a choice. If you want to homeschool your child, then homeschool your child. Maybe you know how to do it better than the federal government. If you want to send them to a private school, you should have that right to send them to a private school. Maybe save you some taxes in sending them to a private school. Since you're paying to send everybody else to school, everybody else's children, maybe you should get a break for sending your child to a different school. So, like I said, I'm just a big fan of common sense. I like listening to people. I'm not a big fan of going out and saying everything, oh, the blah, blah, blah. I like to go out and listen to people. I've always found that that's the most effective way. What I find best from my background in working in business is that I used to be a consultant. I used to be a systems analyst. I'd go out there, I look at your system. Before I go out there with a 17-page program of how I'm going to fix your system, I may spend 2 weeks, sometimes even 6 weeks, I would say, like in Chicago or whatever, understanding the flow of business, understanding how it works. You can't go in there and just fix it. Even a good doctor is going to take the time to understand what your ailments are before he sits there and tries to prescribe something. Otherwise, we call him a quack. Yet, we have people who are proposing solutions, which to me, not much different. You're pretty much a quack. Do you even understand the problem? That's my big thing. I like to understand the problem before I provide a solution. I'm not a knee-jerk reaction type of person. I like to think that I'm civil, sociable, that I'm intelligent, and I'm a good listener. And to me, those are the key elements of somebody who can make good decisions. A good decision maker listens more than they talk. In our industry, in the auto industry, we were always telling everybody, you're given two ears and one mouth for a reason. You should probably be listening 90% of the time and talking 10% of the time. And which is kind of odd for me because I really don't know much about you folks, but yet here I am speaking to you. So I do look forward to your questions.
Okay, good.
Are we good, Pete?
You're good, good.
The first question, do you support legislation placing all new state employees in defined benefit pension plans?
All state employees into defined pension
All
plans.
new state employees in defined benefit pension plans.
I do like the idea it works in the private sector. I don't see why it shouldn't work in the public sector. The reason I believe it's good for the public sector as well is because how else do you pay for it except with taxes? Now, for those who currently have a pension, well, that's what they agreed to when they first started. They should be able to keep that pension. That's almost like a contract, and we shouldn't take that away. But for new employees, yeah, I do believe that putting into your own pension, into your own retirement, just like everyone else, is fair. It's not about whether it's right or wrong, it's just fair. Like I said, the only other way to pay for it is out of taxes.
Okay. Do you believe that environmental regulations are becoming burdensome and hindering growth, or are more regulations needed to protect the environment?
It depends on the regulation, but overall, I believe that environmental regulation hinders.